It's Saturday, March the 12th, Tampa Bay Derby Day. I'm going to highlight some of my better bets for the day, and I will focus on stakes races and double or triple investments. In the fourth at Tampa is the first race that I like. I like 5 Adirondack Express. Running against the horse that beat him last time, but they switch inside and outside post positions. I think he looks best at double the investment. In the fifth at Aqueduct, non-winners to 2 lifetime. Number 2, Quick Money. I'll double the investment there. Looks to be the inside speed, looks to be long gone. In the fifth at Gulfstream, non-winners to 2 lifetime on the turf. I'll take number 3, Mutiny. Double the investment there. Of the 12 horses slated to face the starter today, he's the only one that's never been in 2 lifetime competition and not even run for a claiming tag. In the 6th at Aqueduct, I like number 4, King Bobo. He looks to be an interesting play. Not only does he have tactical speed from the inside, but the race is written for horses that have not won 2 races since September the 12th. Last time he won, September the 12th, right on the money. Seems like that race was written for him. The 6th at the Fairgrounds on the turf, I like number 2, Mr. Mardi Gras. I'll double the investment there. Broke his maiden here. Stepped up, was 4th in allowance company at Keeneland. Since then, nothing but stakes races, including 4 graded stakes. Twice he was 2nd. Looks like the class of the field. The 8th at Tampa is a handicap. I'll take number 6, Bella the Hall. Double the investment there. Ramon Dominguez on board. The only time she was not in a stakes for more than $100,000, she was a dominant winner. The 2nd at Santa Anita, number 3, Lunda Bay. Double the investment there. Last 3 efforts, it's gone right to the front, and none of the others in here, 0, have ever been on the front end. Looks long gone on the front end. The 9th, the Fairgrounds, I like horse for the course, number 7, Freezing Fire. Can't believe he's 5-1 on the morning line. I'll double the bet. Granted, he went into kind of a tailspin at the end of his 4-year-old season, but been working well, and I think he loves this course. I think he surprises today. The 10th at Aqueduct, Maiden Claimers, number 9, Vision of Magic. Strictly a buyer speed figure play. His last 5 races, 57, 57, 57, 55, and 57. The entire rest of the field has run 1, 58, 1, 57, and 1, 56. So unless somebody runs their lifetime best, Vision of Magic wraps up the late pick 4 at Aqueduct. The 7th at Santa Anita, number 5, Bella Roya. 5-2 on the morning line, double the investment there. It's on the turf going down the hill. Big advantage to have won down the hill, and all of her races down the hill have been against better than what she sees today. And finally, the finale at Santa Anita, the 10th, non-winners to lifetime, 6 furlong sprint. I like number 9, Gallatin's Run. 5-2 on the morning line, I'll double the investment. Kind of a suspicious drop here, but top connections, Joel Rosario, buyer speed figures. I think even if he's off a little bit, he wins here. So that's the finale at Santa Anita. So now, let's take a look at the big plays and the major stakes races for today. The first feature race I'd like to talk about is the 7th at Tampa. It's an allowance, and really it's a stakes quality field. My selection, in fact it's my best bet at Tampa Bay, is number 2, Pluck. I will go primetime investment here, 20 to win. Pluck is a multiple graded stakes winner. His last race was winning the Breeders' Cup Turf Juvenile, and he came from off the pace that day. That's the way he typically runs. That fits the track profile. I think that if Pluck were running in a graded stakes to debut in his 3-year-old season, he'd be a good play against, especially coming out of the Breeders' Cup. But in this allowance race, he's just tons the best. And I understand they got bigger goals ahead for him, but this will be a good tune-up for him. This is a good spot for him to debut today. He should win at a short price. So that's Pluck, even money, number 2 on the morning line. I will go 20 to win in the 7th race at Tampa on Pluck. The next race at Tampa, the 9th, is the Grade 3 co-featured Hillsborough, going 9 furlongs on the turf. I like number 5, Zagora. I would triple the bet on Zagora, the 5-2 morning line. This is a great race. A lot of graded stakes winners and graded stakes place horses in here. I hate to go with the chalk, but man, here's a European that's been throwing time form figures in the triple digits. Anything like that, she's much the best here. Her U.S. debut was in the Grade 1 Queen Elizabeth II Cup, and she was clearly 2nd, beaten by Harmonious, and she beat the multiple Grade 1 winner Evening Jewel that day, who was in peak form at the time. Ramon Dominguez up again. He's on a lot of my horses today at Tampa. It's number 5, Zagora. Triple the investment in the Grade 3 co-feature at Tampa, the Hillsborough Stakes. And finally, the last pick at Tampa is in the 11th race, the featured Grade 3 Tampa Bay Derby. I like number 10, Brethren. Todd Pletcher trains Brethren, so right away, that's one angle. Second, he's got Uncle Mo entered today, but I think Uncle Mo is going to stay here in South Florida. Brethren, he was dominant in his 3-year-old debut. And it might be on paper a good play against here, but he was never asked that day, and he was just tons the best. I think he appears to be really, really on top of his game, and I think he's got the field over the barrel here. Another way he's not a solid bet, prime time, $20 to win, number 10, Brethren, will be if his stablemate Uncle Mo shows up. Let's go on to another racetrack now. Let's go to Gulfstream, here our home track, and take a look at their stakes races for today. The first race I want to talk about at Gulfstream is not a stakes race, but it is a triple investment for me. It's the 6th race. It's a sprint, maiden special weight. My selection is number 3, Ninja Blade. Made his 2011 debut against Traveling Man, who won off by 10 lengths that day. He came back to run second in the Grade 2 Hutchison. Ninja Blade came out of that race after earning an 87 buyer, which stretched out to 7 panels. He was second to Arch Traveler. Arch Traveler came back to win at 9 furlongs in what a race that many people think will produce at least 1, if not 2 starters in the Florida Derby. Not facing anybody like that today, so in spite of finishing second twice with solid buyers, 87 and 85, number 3 Ninja Blade in the 6th at Gulfstream, maiden special weight. I'll triple the bet there. The 7th at Gulfstream is my bet of the day. It's the Timely Rider Stakes, a $100,000 race that was written exclusively to keep Uncle Mo here in South Florida. Uncle Mo is the Kentucky Derby favorite. Uncle Mo is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Champion. Uncle Mo is undefeated. Uncle Mo is just dynamic. He was everything he was built up to be at Churchill Downs on Breeders' Cup Day. His workouts suggest that he's just as good this year. Obviously, he's been off. There's always the issue of do they carry their form to their 3-year-old year, but boy, from what I've seen on paper and from what all the comments I've read, he's every bit as good. He's never lost. I don't think he has to be at his best here today. This is not one of those tune-em-up races. I think Uncle Mo wins for fun today. Much the best. He's listed at 3 to 5 on the morning line. I'll probably go in as much as $50 to win. I'd probably be 1 to 5 if that. That's the 7th race, the Timely Rider Stakes, going a 1-turn mile at Gulfstream. The 8th race at Gulfstream is the co-featured Grade 3 Palm Beach Stakes. There are a lot of horses in here who are probably going to get a lot of money. And one of them, if he chooses to run here, would be Pluck, who's my bet of the day at Tampa. And if you recall, I said that the only way Pluck would not win today is if he went in a graded stakes to kick off his 3-year-old debut. Well, if he comes here to Gulfstream, he's a great horse to play against. I think there are several in here that all have issues to answer, and any one of them can win. So I'm going to go with a bit of a price here. I like number 6, News Dad. He's listed at 10 to 1. News Dad indicates that he can win this race because he's improved in each start. He goes for Vilmont on the turf, and his last win was at this 9 furlong distance. That's something that nobody else can say. It's a 3-year-old stakes race. A lot of questions to be answered by the other contenders. I'll go with number 6, News Dad, 10 to 1 on the morning line in the 8th at Gulfstream, the co-featured Grade 3 Palm Beach Stakes. And in the 9th at Gulfstream, the other half of the feature races is the Grade 2 Gulfstream Handicap. Again, I see several horses with questions to answer here. Soaring Empire, Tackleberry, several in here who probably could win. But the horse I like is number 5, Jackson Ben. He's 8 to 1 on the morning line, and I'll double the investment. And here's why. He was my 2-year-old champion in 2009. I was a little disappointed when he got shipped off to the Nick Zito barn for the Triple Crown run. This felt like the local trainer, Stanley Gold, deserved to have a chance to take him into those races. Well, Jackson Ben never really reached his potential for Zito. He was a good second in his debut here at a mile, like this race. Then he ran second to Escandarea at the Fountain of Youth here and in the Wood Memorial, and he was a very close-up third in spite of trouble to looking at Lucky at the Preakness, but he did not win a race for Nick Zito. Today, why I like him is he goes back to Stanley Gold. He gets back to his original rider, Jeffrey Sanchez. I think he gets overlooked because of his form from last year. I think he is a bit of a price. I think we get a double-digit payoff. Number 5, Jackson Ben in the 9th race at Gulfstream. Let's shift gears and go to the fairgrounds. At the fairgrounds, the one race that I would like to talk about is their feature race today. It's the Grindstone Stakes. This was scheduled to be run last Saturday, but all the rain caused it to come off, and then they eventually canceled the card. It's at 7.5 furlongs over the turf, and I like number 2, Wilcox Inn. Wilcox Inn comes out of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, where he was 3rd behind Soldat and Pluck. I think that, again, much like Pluck, he has bigger goals ahead of him. This is a great place for him to show up. He doesn't have anybody with the kind of class that he's got. He's lightly raced. He's been working solidly. I think this is a good place to start off his 3-year-old career. And I would go with number 2, Wilcox Inn, in the 10th race at the fairgrounds. I'll double the investment there. Finally, at the fairgrounds, the 12th race is my bet of the day out there. It's an optional claimer, and I like number 8, Hey Smarty. Prime time, 20 to win. Hey Smarty has rattled off 4 wins in a row in this optional claiming company ever since he was taken by Cody Autry. That alone would stamp him as the favorite. But what really is scary for his opponents today was he went off by a widening 6 lengths in his last, and the comment in the racing form, without being asked. Looks solid to me. Prime time on Hey Smarty, number 8 in the 12th at the fairgrounds. And finally, let's go out west to Santa Anita, where we have a couple selections there that I'd like to talk about. First race I'd like to talk about at Santa Anita is one of their feature races, and that is the Grade 1 Santa Margarita. It's at 9 furlongs, and my selection is number 4, Switch. 2 to 1 on the morning line. I'm probably going to get that because there are 2 other contenders in here that will take some money. I will go prime time on Switch, $20 to win. On paper, it looks ideal. She beat Always a Princess on opening day, going 7 furlongs when Always a Princess set the pace. Switch stalked the pace, blew on by. Since then, Always a Princess has gone wire to wire in 2 graded stakes, going 2 turns. I think she's got an inside post. She goes to the lead again. I think Switch stalks the lead, blows right on by just like she did at 7 furlongs. The main threat's going to come from St. Trinian's, who gave Zenyatta everything she could want last year going at this 9 furlong distance. If St. Trinian's runs back to that race, she could be the one to fear the most. However, I got some questions about St. Trinian's. She's older. She's never run on real dirt before until her last. That race, she laid all over that field. Granted, coming off a long layoff, but she couldn't get by the winner. I think St. Trinian's comes a little bit late. I think the pace is slow. I like Switch, number 4 in the Grade 1 Santa Margarita. The co-feature out there is the Grade 2 San Felipe, which is a prep for the Santa Anita Derby. I don't have a bet in there. I think that'll be an interesting race to watch. I like Run Flat Out. I think he's got a lot of talent, but he's never been 2 turns. And I like Comet to the Top if he can relax off the lead. He was a big disappointment for me at the Golden Gate Derby, so I'll pass on that race. And that will do it for today. We're probably going to head out to the track on Sunday, so we'll come back with some selections and see how we did today on Saturday, March the 12th, Tampa Bay Derby Day.